Welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with the general reading for the sign of Leo, April 2025. This is a channel that focuses on you, and in particular, it's going to focus on your own healing journey, getting back to you, your authentic self. And in today's reading, we're going to be doing the Yellow Cardinal Cross, and it's a really thorough reading because it first of all starts off by looking at what issue you're sitting with, your situation, a decision you have to make, maybe a pattern you're caught up in. And then I'm going to look at two things after that. I'm going to look at the conscious influence on it. And that means, what are you aware of that's influencing this situation? And then I'll look at the unconscious influence, and that is what you're not aware of. And so I'm going to take a little bit of a dive into your shadow. And I'm going to look at what needs healing around this situation because, believe it or not, that's what's having the most impact on the situation that you're sitting in. And then I'll also look at what's needed for resolution. And then at the end, I will ask the tarot for some guidance as to how you can start healing this and help you with the situation you're in. And then I'll also suggest from my other channel, Carol Cares, I'll suggest a video or a playlist that will really help you with the situation at hand. And so I'm going to put you on speed dial right now, and I'll be back in about 3 seconds. All right, Leo, I'm back. And so today's reading, forgot to mention that I will be using the Ehrenberg Tarot. And I'll also be using the Radiant Rider-Waite. And I've also pulled an oracle card from the Shaman's Dream. And we'll get back to that at the end. So let's begin with the issue that you're dealing with this month in April. So you start off with the Three of Cups, and that was clarified by the Three of Wands. Three of Cups is, the cups are about emotions, our desires, our wishes. And so this is really, if you look at it, it's kind of a clinging of these three cups together, right? A clinging of your emotions, if you want. And it's really it's a card of feminine energy. It's like it's celebrating your feminine side. This has nothing to do with gender. We all have a feminine side and we all have a masculine side. And I'm seeing here that it's very interesting that this feminine card came up. And when the Three of Cups comes up, it's really a card that it's tough because you have to know why it's here. And when it came up as your first card, I kind of looked at it and I went, oh, this is interesting. Like, what exactly does this mean about your feminine energy? Why is this showing up right now? And but then I had to say to myself, you know what? You got to wait until everything's on the table and wait till I turn go back to the camera and that it kind of all fits in. And I'm seeing it now because we're going to get to it. But in what you're consciously aware of, you have two kings side by side. There was a part of me that wanted to stop at one of the kings, and then I pushed forward and it gave me another king, and I was like, oh wow. When you find out what that means for me, you'll understand why this is opening up as a feminine energy here, because the kings represent my masculine energy, and we'll get into that in a minute because it's very important that you listen to this part of it, because there's a part of you that your ego is not going to want you to listen to this. But you're opening up with a feminine energy and it's in reverse. And that means there's this feminine part of you that you're blocking, that you have resistance to. And that's often because we have this masculine part of us that will come out, our ego self, and will block it. Because it's celebrating your emotions. And it's kind of saying you have access to all these emotions. You have access to feeling. And I think right now that you have a lot stirring inside of you. I think you have a lot of emotions going on that you're just not knowing what to do with them. And yet it's like, well, you need to feel these emotions. Because there's this Three of Wands that comes right behind it, and it explains to me why you're having these emotions that are all coming up for you. I know for me, I've been doing some grieving lately, and when we have grief that comes up, when we're finding ourselves crying, And you know, that's important. And what I've learned about, I don't know why I'm talking about grieving with you, but what I've learned about grief is that it doesn't necessarily have to have a reason for it. Sometimes it just comes out and we cry, and that's a beautiful thing. And I think when we start to realize that our emotions are a beautiful thing, you know, it just brings a lot of acceptance to allowing our emotions to come through. Because the Three of Wands says you're thinking of there's somewhere you need to go. Three of Wands talks about our purposeful direction. Our wands are fiery. They're fiery energy. They're the ones that take us places, take us into this new path we want to take for ourselves. But you are torn. There's so many emotions around this new direction that you want to take for yourself. And so I didn't want to leave it there. I thought, there's something here. I need to pull one more card. So I pulled the Knight of Pentacles for you. And the Knights are what I call my freedom fighters. They're like, and everybody has this. There's this adolescent part of us. And I want you to think of an adolescent. An adolescent wants two things. It wants to be free from oppression. It wants no one to control them. And they want to be their authentic self. They want to be free to go and be who they are. And so there's this part of you that's pulling you in this new direction, that's saying, no, we're going over here. Come on. Are you coming? And they have the pentacle in their hand. The pentacle talks about health, talks about our material world, talks about our self-worth. Our pentacle is the body. It's like the body, when we get into our body, that's where we feel our emotions. So maybe there's a pull here for you to go towards, you know, maybe getting into your body, maybe getting out of your head, because you have two kings here. That tells me that you're very much up in your head trying to block these emotions that are coming forward. There's a real pull for you to go into your direction of, let's get into your body. Let's find out what these emotions are. And that's where you're going towards. You move towards your authentic self as you start to feel what these emotions are. But like I said, they're very much being pushed down right now. Not wanting to deal with them. And so what are you consciously aware of? We're going to get now to this ego that I've been talking about. Well, here's the Two of Swords. Here's this individual. Normally these swords are crossed over the person's heart and there's a blindfold on, but it's like, I think you're very much aware that you are shutting down these emotions. You are blocking these emotions. You're pushing them down. You don't want anything to do with them. And this card usually has like water flowing in the back of it. And these are like the emotions that are flowing. Every time there's water on the card, it's like, oh, these are emotions that are supposed to flow. But you're not allowing these emotions to flow. You're like, nope, don't want any part of them. You know, maybe you peek through once in a while. Maybe you're one of those people that has been grieving once in a while. You have these outbursts of crying, right? You know, and you're trying to don't keep it down. And what's really behind all of this, and you need to be aware of it, are these two kings. Here's our ego self. I said that you have a feminine side and you also have a masculine side. Our masculine side is the side that we pretty much all live from, thinking it's our adult self, but it's not. It's our ego self. Our ego self isn't our true self. And our ego self is the one that is absolutely petrified of emotions. It doesn't want you to go near your emotions. And in particular, you have the King of Cups, which is the emotions, talks about our emotions, you know, pushing them down. The King of Wands, interesting that, you know, you have this wand wanting to go into this new direction. And this ego will come out and say, like, what are you, crazy? What do you want to do this for? And like the whole idea of putting yourself first and wanting to do something for yourself. That's what this creative purpose is about. It can be something this small, putting yourself first. But your ego will go, no, that's dangerous. You can't. It'll often sound like the messages we got from people we were growing up with. I am a survivor of sexual abuse and trafficking. So I've been in intensive healing for about 8 years now. Very interesting that I had my phone call with my therapist this morning, and I'm thinking, I need to talk to you. I need to say something here. It just kind of came up because there's a new direction I want to take in my life, just like, you know, you're doing right now. And I had to ask permission. I felt like I had to ask permission today from my therapist saying, well, can I do this? And she stopped me right away and said, wait a minute here, that's old behavior. That's you still, you know, when you're young thinking, I got to ask permission to do something. And I had parents who always stopped me and said, no, you're not allowed. That's a stupid idea. What do you think? I'm always pushed down. It was always no. My answer to anything was always no. And so, you know, maybe you're sitting in a situation like that where you're hearing, that's a stupid idea. That's crazy. No, you can't do that. And so that's what you're consciously aware of. There's these emotions that you're just shutting down. You're hearing these things in your head. And I said to pay attention to this because your ego is not going to want you to listen to me. That's the last thing they're going to want. When you feel this urge to go in a new direction and to take it, sometimes we got to work through our fear. Sometimes we got to do a bit of pushing, you know. And so, I mean, there's a huge part of me that wants to take this new direction in my life right now, which is huge for me. But, you know, and like my therapist said, you don't need my permission. And I guess I'm telling you this. You don't need anyone else's permission. The permission you need has to come from you. It has to come from your intuition. And that's your feminine side. That's getting back in your body and getting in touch with, well, what is the truth about this direction I want to go in? But instead, we tend to live up with, oh, that's a stupid idea. Why are you doing that? And so what is it that needs healing around this? You know, I'm going to call it like an urge. You're wanting to do this. You're wanting to move forward. So what's blocking this? Why are you shut down with your emotions? Why won't you do this? What's behind this? And that's what needs healing. And that's going to come from your childhood, your adolescence. It's going to come here in your unconscious. And so the first thing that's coming up here is the Nine of Swords in reverse. The Nine of Swords is, you know, normally that card with that person lying on their back and they have all these swords. So what are swords? Swords are our mental thoughts. And I talked about the mental thoughts that would be going through your head, those beliefs that you were told when you were younger. There is a memory here that you need to get to. When I get the Nine of Swords, because this is a healing channel, it's always about a memory coming up. And it's a person that's almost like they're in a nightmare. They're remembering something. And for me, when my sleep is affected, I wake up at night and I can't sleep. I can't get to bed at night. I wake up too early in the morning at 3, 4 in the morning. And I can't, and when my sleep is affected, it's always my ego self that's trying to block something that's coming up. There's like a memory here that's coming up for you. There's a memory that's sitting in your unconscious that is related to this. And, you know, you've put it away. It's blocked right now. And it seems like it's wanting to come forward right now. And it's a memory about you feeling the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is, and again, it's blocked. And maybe there's a fear of you to looking at this. This individual right here, the Five of Swords, he has this grimace on his face, right? He's just won this battle. And look at him. This is my bullying card. I always look at this individual right here at the back. He's hiding his face. And for me, when I'm grieving or I'm hiding my face, you know, it really talks to me about shame, that emotion of shame that we don't like to talk about because it's a shitty emotion. It's a feeling of unworthiness when you were younger. There's a memory about feeling unworthy. And so here you are wanting to put yourself out there. You're wanting to do this thing for yourself, put yourself first, but you're hearing, you can't do that. You're not strong enough. You're not pretty enough. You're dumb. You're not smart enough. Like, what is it? What are you telling yourself that has made you feel so unworthy? There's a memory where you felt very unworthy. You maybe wanted to do something when you were younger and were told you can't do that. And here's the Chariot card that comes right at the end. Let's look at the Chariot card. The Chariot card is a card of, you know, introspection, I call this card. It's this individual. It's this individual that's been very much trying to control these sphinxes. The word control is coming up for me right now. Trying to control these sphinxes to move, but they're made of cement and they've got a mind of their own. You see them? Maybe you were told that you got a mind of your own. Maybe you were told that you were stubborn. Maybe you were told, you know, things like that. But there's a real, like, this controlling thing, this controlling aspect to this card, where this charioteer has been trying so long to control these sphinxes to go in the direction that he's wanting to go in. But they have a mind of your own. I'm going to say when you were younger, that you knew exactly deep inside something you wanted to do when you were younger. And and it may be related to what you want to do right now. And you had these controlling people come at you, your caretakers, parents, whoever, that just said, no, we're gonna put you in your place. You know, who do you think you are? You're too big for your britches. Like expressions like that. What are you hearing? Because whatever you're hearing about what it is you want to do is what people said to you when you were younger. And what it did was, it put you right back and made yourself small because it made you feel unworthy. And so you have some shame here. You have some unworthiness. You have a memory that's coming up where you have to work through before you can take this step. And that is how the healing journey works. You always have to work through memories, trauma, before you can take the next step. And a lot of times we'll get stuck in this spot because we need to work out things like, and this is you being stuck, right? Where you're shutting down these emotions. Well, that's because you don't want to look at the shame. And so what's the resolution here? Well, you have the Six of Cups here. And the Six of Cups is a beautiful card where this individual is smelling these flowers. This is the cup that was received from another child. It's the exchange of cups, the Six of Cups. It's the number 6 for me, and there's a real duality with my 6 cards. And there's this exchange, this receiving and this giving. We have inner children. I have more than one inner child. I know mainstream psychology likes to say there's more than one, but I have many. And they hold different memories. They hold my trauma. They hold information, and they hold big emotions. Big emotions. I think there's an inner child of yours that needs healing. There's an inner child here that holds this memory right here that's wanting to come out. And they hold emotions. And the only person now that can heal this inner child, heal this this hurt when you were younger, is you. And you do that through, I do that through my journaling. I talk to my inner children. I ask them about this memory. Do you have a memory for me? I write down how I feel. I write down about my shame. I feel unworthy. Write down, you journal why you can't do this. I can't do this because I'm not allowed to do it. I can't do this. I just can't do this. I'm not allowed. I'm not smart enough. Write down the shame. Well, why can't you do this thing for yourself? Because this is how you're going to heal your inner child. 8 of Cups comes in right after it. And the 8 of Cups is really my, what I call my shadow card. It's this individual that's walking away from these 8 of Cups. Not walking away from the emotions, but they're walking away to feel these emotions. I know there's this huge fear on your part to feel that shame. Who wants to feel shitty shame? Who wants to grieve over that? And this is what the resolution is that you've got to walk away from. You've got to get some quiet time for yourself. You've got to carve out some time for yourself where you can really get in touch with those emotions of this inner child and what do they want to share with you? What is it they want to share? What do they need to feel? What do you need to feel? Grief? You know, do you have to feel their shame? But you need to carve out some time. You need to get still. Stillness actually is a beautiful feminine quality. And that's why you opened up. There's a real call here for you to get in touch with your emotions, to get still, to get back in your body. Those are all feminine qualities that your two kings over here want nothing to do with. And then you get the Nine of Wands. That goes along with this carving out time for yourself. Do you see this individual, this Nine of Wands? He's been through a lot. He's got a bandage on his head. You know, here's this Five of Swords bullying card over here. You know, maybe this is an individual that's been through a lot, that's been bullied. I didn't say, but maybe you've been bullied when you were younger. You know, if you're one of those people that got bullied at school, well, you get bullied at home as well. It's kind of like how our patterns repeat, right? And so this individual has set up, it looks like a wall behind them of the wands. This is my boundary card. It's time that you put some boundaries in place here while you decide, I'm going to carve out some time for myself. You know, if it's something like, you know, I'm going to take 15 minutes during this day and I'm going in my room or I'm going in this room and nobody's bothering me for these 15 minutes, like that's setting up a boundary for yourself. But it's you putting you first so that you can carve out some time for yourself, so you can start to feel what it is this inner child needs to share with you, what this memory is around your unworthiness right here. And so what's the guidance from the tarot? Well, here's the Moon card that comes out. The Moon card talks about when the moon comes out, all this weird shit starts to happen. Like if you talk about anybody that works in an emergency room in a hospital, when the full moon comes out, you know, you get a lot of weird things, people coming out. Like it's just, but the moon also talks about like the mysterious, unhidden things. So there's some real unhidden things that need to come out here, and that's what you need to get to. There's a memory here. There's a memory of something that happened here for you, and it's time for you to unveil, you know, figure out what it is that's been hidden from you for a while, what you've been hiding from you, what your ego self doesn't want you to know, what they've been blocked. They've been keeping you up in your head, blocking this. Three of Wands comes out again. Really important that you pay attention to two cards, and it's, you know, it's right underneath the other Three of Wands. This time it's in reverse, but it's I always like to pay attention to cards that are doubled, you know, that have come out twice in my reading here. The universe wants to, you know, right now, the direction that you want to go in, it's blocked. There's fear there. There's resistance on your part. The universe wants to turn that around for you. But before this card turns around, and I already said it earlier, you have to look at and heal. Go through the emotions. Find out what it is when you carve out time for yourself. You need to find out what's hidden. What are you hiding from yourself? You know, and then you can go in that new direction. The Magician card comes in reverse. When I first started my healing journey, my therapist said to me, Carol, you have everything in you. You have everything in you. All your answers are inside of you. That's not what I wanted to hear. I wanted her to tell me everything. I just told you this morning how I just got off my call right before this reading, and she told me, you get to make your own decisions. This Magician card is here for you. You get to make your own decisions now. You have everything here. This Magician is the master manifester. He has everything at his disposal. He has cups, he has his swords, he has his wands, he has his pentacle on that table. He has there's infinite things he can do. You know, the lemniscate, the symbol on his head, he can do anything he wants because he's grounded. He's a lightning rod. He uses his wand and he gets the power from the divine, and it comes through his lightning rod. He doesn't keep that power. He grounds it into the earth. He's grounded. And I've been talking about how you need to get back in your body and you can make your decisions. You have intuition. That's a beautiful feminine quality as well. He can do whatever he wants. You can do whatever you want. You have the power to do it. And I know there's a lot of fear, and I know you don't think you can do this. But here's the Knight again. You had the Knight of... I know there was a Knight here. Where was your Knight? Did you not have a Knight? Yes, I know you had a Knight. Just a second. 3. Oh, it's right here in front of me. Right above it. I knew there's another Knight. Sorry. Knight of Pentacles. Now you have the Knight of Wands. So, you have 2 freedom fighters. You have 2 parts of you that are pulling for you. And this one has the wand this time. You know that direction you want to go in? And you know when you were younger and you wanted to do this thing and you were told no because you were controlled with this Chariot card? Here it is. It wants to pull you. It's pulling you. You have 2 knights that are fighting for you, but you've got 2 kings, your ego self, that's blocking it. And you know, your ego self hates this part of you right here. It hates that part of you that wants to be free. Because it wants to control, right? The ego wants to control your emotions. But you've got a part of you that's pulling you in this direction. But you first got to heal. You got to find out, okay, what's this memory? What's this memory around bullying, around my self-worth, that's told I couldn't do this? That's what you got to get to. And so I'm going to leave you, first of all, with a playlist on shame at the end. And that's going to help you because it's going to have some journaling in there and how to journal from your shame. Tell you about what your shame is. So I'll leave that, but I want to get to your Shaman's Dream Oracle here. So you got the Moon Maiden, New Beginnings. So what do we need? What do you need to hear about new beginnings? The Moon Maiden arrives to offer you a new beginning. A new face and facet of yourself that is aching to be shown to the world. I didn't handpick this. It just came out. The universe gave me this card. Those qualities that you have been quietly cultivating are ready for the limelight. The secrecy was important, for it protected your new face and kept what was precious close to your heart. But now is the time to come forward in full splendor. Announce the new you to yourself first. Reveal it slowly to the world, like the waxing moon. You did get the moon card. Allow others to be surprised by how mature and grown up this side of you is. Now it's time to set yourself free. We talked about controlling. We talked about the knights and how they want freedom. The Moon Maiden belongs only to herself, and she is summoning the parts of you that challenge convention, that refuse to be intimidated, and that cannot be tamed or put inside a golden cage. Chariot card. The Moon Maiden invites you to shine with your own light, to have radiant curiosity, and to ask anyone who offers you a mouthful of dogma, why do you believe this is so? Question everything others assume is a given, and do not collude with the drama around you. Become an unpredictable being, yet an eminently reliable friend. The Moon Maiden invites you to answer only to yourself. That is your intuition, and remind you that you are not anyone's property. Be true to your soul's calling, even as some around you in a relationship or a job want to capture your light inside a bottle. You know how to rise to the occasion, just as unfailingly as the moon does. When the time comes, you return to darkness and become enshrouded in mystery until you are ready to return. Oh, wow. I'm going to say out of all my readings, I mean, I've been getting some powerful messages from these oracle cards. That's the most powerful and the most accurate one that has come out for you, Leo. So have compassion for yourself for what you're working through. This journey to heal yourself back to your true self, your authentic self, the person you're meant to be, is the most difficult journey of your life, but it's the most important one. So I'll talk soon. Bye.